Hello everyone, going to show you in this video how to make sure the pictures you get from the internet or even images you get from the internet look good in your slideshow. Okay, so I have three images here. First I have a background of this beach volleyball girl. It came with a volleyball up here. I added this volleyball and this dolphin. And I think you would agree that this volleyball looks crappy because it's got this white rectangle around it, and JPEGs from the internet always have a white rectangle around them, or at least a rectangle around them. JPEGs are always square, and they don't have transparency. So here's a dolphin, there's no white, but you see all the water around the dolphin. So again, a rectangle around it. Looks crappy. If I click on the second slide, you should see that I got rid of the beach ball up here, and I'm using this beach ball instead because I want to animate it, and I'm using this dolphin instead. What I did in Photoshop is I made the rectangle around this beach ball transparent. So no matter where I put it, you don't see any white rectangle. Same thing with the dolphin. I made that transparent. And so what I want to show you in this video is how to make images you get from the internet transparent in the rectangle on the outside of the part you want, so that you don't see some silly rectangle moving across the screen. To get rid of that volleyball that came with the image I use as a background, I did the same thing we did in a previous lesson where there was a little girl on the beach, and we removed a bunch of unwanted parts from the picture by using content aware or the fill command with content aware as the option. So you want to see how to do that, you can go back and relook at that video. Okay, so here is Photoshop, and we have a beach ball. And remember, when you get an image from the internet, it's almost always going to come in with a layer called background that's locked. You can either change the name to unlock it so you can work on it, or more preferably, jump the layer to make a second layer so you always have the original that you had and just turn that off and work on this layer. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and remove this white all around the outside of the ball by using this command right here, which is on the eraser tool. Standard looks like this, but when you choose background eraser, it comes with like a little scissor type thing over there. And then I'm just leaving the default here, and if I click, because this is not really an image or a picture, it's just an image, it's a piece of artwork or whatever, because this black line around here is a definitive black line, not like an actual photograph of a white beach ball, then it might be a little hard to do, and I'll show you why on the next part of this video. But this one works good. The reason why it works good is because Photoshop sees that black line and says, oh, I know, he wants to go on this side, not the other side of the black line. Okay, but what you have to be careful of when you do this, you see this checkerboard stands for transparency. I don't know about you, but my eyes, the checkerboard's a little hard to see, so if I miss something, I wouldn't know. The way to see if you miss something, a nice technique is create a new layer using this button down here. Turn this off for a second, so I have a new blank transparent layer. I want to fill that with a color that's very different than the colors in my image. And the image is black and white, so any color other than black or white will do, but let's do this. So we're going to go to Edit, and then Fill, and we'll choose a color, and we'll choose red, which I have it on. Say OK, and it fills that layer with red. And now I'm going to drag that layer down in between the two and let go, and you see all red. I'm going to click on this one to reveal that I've missed making it transparent in some spots. So if I didn't do this and I saved it and used it in my slideshow, when this ball flies across the screen, you're going to see little white speckles all around it wherever I missed. And that would look yucky, obviously. So using the red to reveal what I've missed, I'm going to go back and re-click on here. But before I do that, I need to realize I'm working on the red layer. So right now on layer 2, if I start clicking, I'm going to be removing red. I don't want to remove red. I want to remove the white that I missed. So I have to remember to click back on layer 1 before I click here. And then click here. And wherever there's red is really transparent. There's a little white thing up here, which is going to be, oh, I got it. I thought I was going to have to zoom in. I didn't really want to waste the time zooming in. You guys know how to do that. Okay, maybe I do have to zoom in once over here just to get this little white spot. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now that looks good. And you need to save it for the web. Of course, first save it as a Photoshop file, with whatever name you want. Before you save it for the web, make sure you turn off this eyeball. Otherwise, you're going to have a volleyball instead of a white rectangle around it, a red rectangle around it. We don't want that. Turn that off. Now we know it's fully transparent around there. You go to File, Save for Web, and it'll probably pop up with JPEG as the default because that's the type of file it was to begin with. Notice as soon as I say JPEG, there goes that white rectangle again, which all JPEGs have that. Yours will, and all the ones you get from the internet will. That's just the way the format is of that file type. So you have to change it to something. GIFs include transparency and are often used for animations, which we've done. But there is a file format that's like a GIF, but is a better quality. It doesn't include animation, but it does include transparency. Okay, so right here we have transparency, PNG 24. They also have PNG 8, which only uses 8 colors. The file size is a little smaller. For our purposes, we don't care too much about file size, so I'm going to choose PNG 24 and say save. Okay, I'm going to cancel that now because I've already done that, saved it. Okay, now we want to do the dolphin. Okay, the dolphin's a little tricky. We're going to do the same thing. Control J to jump it, the layer, and then we're going to create a new layer, and we're going to fill that layer, drag it in between, and then we're going to go Edit Fill, and it's all blue, so I think red's going to work good again. Okay, and then say OK, and of course we don't want to work on this one, we want to work on that one. So I'm going to put it back on. Putting it back on doesn't select it. I still have to click here, and then I'm going to do my background eraser, which the tool is still on that. But notice when I click, it's like not erasing everything. Well, that's because sometimes the tolerance of this might be lower. If the tolerance is down here, it misses even more. And the reason why it misses it is because it's trying to find one color compared to another. So when I click here, it's choosing this blue, but it's not choosing all the other blues that are different than that blue. Okay, so I think putting the tolerance lower even selects less. So you see when I click, I only get a little bit of that red showing up because it's trying to find colors that are almost exactly that same shade of blue. And when you go up to 100%, it says, okay, I'm going to choose even more. So it does a better job, you can see right here. But it's not perfect. You have to go over it quite a bit. And you can do that. But what happens is, because the dolphin is a grayish blue, shall we say, basically the color of the dolphin and the color of the water are not so far apart. So when I click here, it erases some of the water, but it also erases some of the dolphin. And now, obviously, that's going to look like crap. So there's a better way to do it. If you use just the plain old lasso tool, actually not the lasso tool, the polygonal lasso tool. There's a fancy way to say polygonal lasso tool. If I zoom in a little bit, and remember when you zoom in, it might not look so perfect when it's zoomed in, but when we zoom out and shrink it down on our PowerPoint, no one's ever going to see it, so don't worry about it. Okay, so when I click here, I'm just going to click around here using straight lines that approximate the curvature of the dolphin's head. Okay, just keep clicking and clicking as you put the point of the bottom of that lasso tool wherever the edge of the dolphin is. And you don't even have to do the whole dolphin in one shot. You can then zoom back out, remembering that you started at the top of the head. You can see my line is still here. I can click here, click here, click here, and then when I go back down by the top of the head, when you see a little circle, and it might be hard for you guys to see on the video, but there's a little circle to the bottom right of the polygon icon of the tool. When I click there, it selects that area, and then I just hit delete on my keyboard, and you see all red, which really is transparent, of course, and then the stuff too that I did before. Okay, so then I hit Control D to deselect, and I'm going to start over again. And this time I'm going to remember I'm starting over here. I can even go up a little if I want. Click here and then click over here. Doesn't really matter. And just go on the side of his eye here. Down, down. I'm not going to do the whole dolphin. Don't worry about it, because that takes too long. So this is a little bit of a tedious job, but if you really want to use a dolphin, how are you going to find a dolphin anywhere but in water? And they blend in good. I guess they were created that way. So again, I can go down here, click, click, go back to the red. Maybe you'll see that white circle a little better. There it is. Click, and then hit delete. And that's my next section. So I do 5 or 6 sections. Straight lines like his fin right here. You can do longer pieces. When you go around the bottom of the fin where it's more rounded, use a few more clicks to try and approximate the curvature. as closely as you can with a bunch of straight lines. So that's a good way to approximate something. When you're all done, of course, turn this off. You'll be all done. You'll see all the checkerboard, file, save for web, PNG24, and that's how you get this type of picture instead of that type of picture. And then you do your animations on this one, and it looks real nice. So that's how to make pictures or images transparent using Photoshop for use in your PowerPoint slideshow.